Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akim out there pushing this word in all sincerity and all truth. This is Brother Kabash, James Jamaica Camp. What I'm gonna make is a short response, to this video here that was done by the elder Malcolm, if I've gotten his name right, James Maccabean Spirit. And the video is Apocryphal Truth Exposed. A few brothers, and elders have made responses to it already. But this is your response. It's going to be a short response. I'm actually just going to bring out one point, and if any brothers have not yet seen the videos, take a look, at the videos. The videos are extremely, edifying, and it gives you concrete proof that the Apocryphals, the Apocryphal books are a part of the scriptures. But then you have a lot of things that, the brothers mentioned in the video that, weren't even brought out, which I'm sure other brothers are aware of as well, But say, for example, you have younger brothers or people just stumbling onto these videos, this can help you to become, more edified and more grounded in this truth, right? The first thing is, Daniel spoke about four different beasts, Salakia. Right, the first beast, which spoke about the Babylonian Empire. The second beast, which spoke about the Persian Empire. The third beast, which spoke about the Greek Empire, and the fourth, the Roman Empire. Now, the Old Testament, if you exclude the Apocrypha, the Old Testament and New Testament spoke about three of those beasts: the Babylonian, the Persian, and the Roman. But there is no written account in the Holy Scriptures of the Greek Empire if you exclude the Apocryphal books, right? Now we know, for those of us who believe and who read the Apocrypha, that history is written in First and Second Maccabees, right? So there's no way for us to understand what happened to us in the Greek captivity from our own eyes if we don't read the First and Second book of Maccabees, right? Matter of fact, you have other books, that connect with the scriptures, which the brothers beautifully brought out. But the point I want to bring out is something that happened in Second Maccabees, right? Now, it was prophesied first in Daniel chapter 11, and I'll start at verse 31. It says, "And arms shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries. But the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits." Right? Now, the he that he's talking about is Antiochus Epiphanes, right? That wicked king, which if you jump down to verse 36, "And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished. For that is determined shall be done." Right? Now, this is speaking about Antiochus IV Epiphanes, right, which is written off in First and Second Maccabees. Right? Now, he through a decree, polluted the temple and made it a place of worshiping, Greek gods. Right? Let's get it. This is Second Maccabees chapter 6, verse 1. It says, "Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews." And the king is speaking about is Antiochus, right? It says, "Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers, and not to live after the laws of God, and to pollute the temple of Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius, and that in garrison of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, and they did desire that dwelt in the place. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people, for the temple was filled with riot and revelings by the Gentiles, who dallied with harlots, and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places, and beside that brought in things that were not lawful. The altar was filled with profane things which the law forbiddeth." Right? So this is one of the fulfillment, of the abomination that maketh desolate. The second, is when the temple was destroyed under the Romans in 70 AD, which Yahushua prophesied of, right? But we're focusing on this one here, right? And then after that temple was destroyed, not destroyed, after the temple was polluted, and made profane, right? The Maccabees did valiantly, Salakia. They did valiantly, meaning they fought off the Greeks, after Antiochus died. The Mosai struck him down with an illness, you know, and the Maccabees fought back to reclaim the temple, and they rededicated it, and that's when we got the Feast of Dedication, right? Now, the Feast of Dedication, it says, is a Jewish festival, which is an Israelite festival, mentioned in St. John 10, verse 22 to 23, which we're going to get. It says, and at that time, the Feast of Dedication took place in Jerusalem. It was winter, and Yahushua was walking in the temple in the colonnade of Solomon. Right? It says, today, this Jewish festival is perhaps better known as Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights. This winter holiday is an 8-day festival observed starting on the 25th of Kislev, which occurs in late November or December, depending on the lunisolar Jewish calendar. During the Feast of Dedication, Jews celebrate the dedication of the Second Temple as recorded in the books of 1st and 2nd Maccabees in the time between the Old and New Testament. The history behind this holiday begins in 198 BC when the Syrian Empire with King Antiochus III took over Judea and Samaria. Antiochus III was fairly tolerant of the Jews and allowed them to continue to live with their custom. However, in 175 BC, his son Antiochus IV ascended the throne. In 168 BC, he massacred many Jews, outlawed Judaism, and looted the temple. The following year, 167 BC, Antiochus IV went so far as to erect an altar of Zeus in the temple and defile it by sacrificing pigs there. The remaining Jews were horrified, so Judah Maccabee led the revolt. In 165 BC, Judah Maccabee and his followers were successful in recapturing the temple and began the Hasmonean Jewish kingdom, which lasted until 63 BC when Jerusalem fell to Roman rule. Right? So we're going to read about the Feast of Dedication first. We're just going to read it over in St. John chapter 10, verse 22. And it was at Jerusalem the Feast of Dedication, and it was winter. Now, if you look up that Feast of Dedication, you get this Greek word here.
Strong's G 1456, ekainia.
And the word says, it means in particular the annual feast celebrated in 8 days beginning in the 25th of Kislev, middle of our December, instituted by Judas Maccabeus, 164 BC, in memory of the cleansing of the temple from the pollution of Antiochus Epiphanes. Now, we read go down a little bit, right? It says, neuter plural of a presumed compound, innovatives, i.e. special renewal of religious services after the Antiochian interruption, dedication. Now, this period here that is talking about the memory of the cleansing of the temple of the pollution of Antiochus Epiphanes is not recorded in the traditional, quote-unquote, traditional Old Testament, right? It was only recorded in the Apocrypha, right? So for those Christians who say that the New Testament makes no reference to the Apocrypha, this is an example, right? In addition to the examples that other elders have brought out, the elder Malcolm and the elder from the Vegas camp, I forget his name. I believe it's Karatazar, right? They brought out examples, of the New Testament quoting the Apocrypha. This is another example of the New Testament referring to a history that's written in the Apocrypha, right? It says, and it was at Jerusalem the Feast of Dedication, which was winter. So Yahushua kept the Feast of Dedication. And when was this instituted? This was instituted in the time of Judas Maccabeus, right? After the cleansing of the temple of the pollution of Antiochus Epiphanes. And we're going to get that from 2nd Maccabees chapter 10 and verse 1. It says, now Maccabeus and his company, the Lord guiding them, recovered the temple and the city, which is actually written also in Daniel chapter 11. If we start at verse 33, it says, they that understand among the people shall instruct many, and they shall fall, yet shall they fall by the sword, by flame, by captivity, and by spoil many days. Right, because the Greeks killed a lot of them. Right, it says, no, when they shall fall, they shall be helping with a little help. Right, because they wrote to the Lacedaemonians, which are the Spartans, and the Romans actually also helped them. Right, and some of them of understanding shall fall to try them and to purge them and to make them white even to the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed, right? So the time would come when they would overcome them, and reset up what was there before. Right? So let's get back to Maccabees chapter 10. He says, "Now Maccabeus and his company, the Lord guiding them, recovered the temple and the city, but the altars which the heathen had built in the open street and also the chapels they pulled down." Right? Notice that chapels. Where do churches worship? Chapels. Seeing, showing that it's going back to what? It's going back to Greek and Roman philosophy, Seeing, and having cleansed the temple, they made an altar, and striking stones, they took fire out of them and offered a sacrifice after 2 years, and set forth incense and lights and shewbread. When that was done, they fell flat down and besought the Lord that they might come no more into such troubles. But if they sinned any more against him, that he himself would change them with mercy, and that they might not be delivered into the blasphemous and barbarous nations, which we know they were actually delivered to them again, right? They were delivered to the Romans, right? And we still are delivered to the to the Edomites under the second leg of the Roman Empire, right? Under America, under European rule, right? So we're still under blasphemous and barbarous nations. But the Lord, did prophesy that we will be delivered from this, right? And that we will rule in eternity, which we're looking forward to know, right? It says, "No, upon the same day that the strangers profaned the temple, on the very same day it was cleansed again, even the 25th day of the same month, which is Caslu." So if you go back to the definition of the Feast of Tabernacles, it says here, the 25th of Chislev, which is the same thing as Caslu, right? So it says, "And they kept 8 days with gladness, as in the Feast of Tabernacles," right? And it tells you here, celebrated 8 days, right, beginning the 25th of Kislev, right? So it says, and they kept 8 days with gladness, as in the Feast of Tabernacles. Remember that not long afore they had held the Feast of Tabernacles, when they wandered in the mountains and dens like beasts. Therefore they bare branches, fair bows, and psalms also, and sang psalms unto him that had given them good success in cleansing the place. They ordained also by a common statutes and decree that every year those days should be kept of the whole nation of the Jews, right, which are the Israelites, right? So the Feast of Dedication, right, was instituted when in Greek captivity, right, under the command of Judas Maccabeus, right? They ordained by a common statute and decree that every year those days should be kept of the whole nation of the Jews. And this was the end of Antiochus, called Epiphanes, right? Which is the wicked king that's written off in Daniel chapter 11 verse 31. And that's pretty much what I wanted to bring out, right? The fact that the New Testament does reference history that's written in the Apocryphal, right? So I hope this lesson was edifying, right? Again, Kalal Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakah Kodesh, for giving me the spirit to this lesson. Shalom.